So your elementary school or was like half Polish? Or you said before
Yeah.
that it was like a
Yeah. So I lived across the street from like a Polish church,
yeah.
and we had like Polish mass and Polish priests, and even the names of the places were named after like Polish priests and stuff. And they opened a private Catholic school there, and my parents sent me there, which is ironic because my parents were like not very Catholic. I think it was like a joke, you know, they like just to like mess with me.
That's hilarious.
Right, and so they sent me to
Keeping up
to
appearances,
private Catholic
maybe.
school, but I think part of it was just because the schools in Philly are really bad, the public schools,
Yeah.
and so because it was a Polish church, the school had a lot of Polish kids. So I would say half the kids. I know I mentioned this earlier. Half the kids spoke Polish to some degree. And I know I mentioned this earlier that every day I would smell kielbasa burp, like guaranteed. Several times a day, you would just smell kielbasa burp.
I like the
I
phenomenon.
think that's the one Polish word that Americans know. I mean, all Americans, right?
Kielbasa burp?
No,
Just kielbasa.
Oh,
not the
kielbasa.
burp part, but that
Yeah.
would be awesome.
In Philly, they'd call it kielbasy. Like, hey, you want a kielbasy?
Ooh.
Y'all want a kielbasi?
And then we'd have no.
Well,
That's the
I
South.
would say he's butchering it, but it's meat. So yeah.
God damn. God damn.
But yeah, and so there was even a Polish gang in our neighborhood, and the Americans would call them the Kielbasy Posse.
The kielbasi posse. Word. That's pretty good.
Yeah, so it's true. That's what they call them.
Oh my god. What do they shoot people with? Cabanose? Like what? Like, if you don't pay your protection, God damn it! Like, if you don't pay your protection money, Zbigniew is gonna come over and fucking whip you with some fucking cabanose. Tarczyński.
Yeah.
Oh, but what I was curious about is then this school's half Polish, and what is the other half then?
So we had a lot of, let's
Catholic.
say, Irish Americans. In where I lived, it was
that kind
mostly
of mixes. Both drink much, both Catholic.
yeah, but they didn't like us.
Yeah,
There's a lot of discrimination.
Oh,
A lot
I'm
of
sorry.
discrimination, and
Nah,
we
man,
would-
don't be sorry about that. Sorry, we interrupted you like that. We sort of, once you start talking about Irish people and drinking, and Polish people
yeah, but
as
they're
well.
not really Irish. They would just say that they're Irish, but they would know nothing about Ireland.
They were, but wait. They pretended to be Irish.
Yeah, so
They
like
were-
most Americans, this is something that I would experience in America, where I'd be like, "Oh, I'm Polish," and they're like, "Oh, me too," and I was like, "Oh, I'm moving to Polish school," and they're like, "Oh no, like my great grandma was Polish."
Yeah.
I know what the fuck you're
so
talking about. You're not
you don't
Polish.
you don't
Yeah.
consider that to be Polish anymore. Then in
No,
that
like
case.
if you don't
Okay,
speak
okay.
Polish, you're not Polish.
But that's a big deal in the U.S., isn't it? Like to talk
Yeah.
about if you're Dutch Irish or if you're
Oh, yeah.
English or if you're Navajo German or
Yeah.
like that's the thing.
Yeah, and so I grew up with annoying Irish Americans. They're not even they're Americans of Irish descent, which I feel like is the most annoying group in the world. It's like I don't discriminate, but I hate Irish Americans because they're like overly proud of being Irish, yet they know nothing about Ireland at all.
You never celebrate St. Patrick's Day anymore now, do you?
No, I don't.
You just
actually.
hate it.
That's
Just
true.
Stay inside.
Yeah,
Why
I'd
do we
rather
celebrate St. Patrick's Day? Because we like green.
not. Yeah, so
No, but it sounds like
You come in
some
with a
people are
hat of
very
the
distant
opposite
from it.
color, like
I noticed it's the same with
Purple.
you got Norwegian diasporas and so on there,
Mm.
carrying bunads, making lutefisk, like making all these weird sort of traditions that. Well, ironically, we actually take it that very seriously in Norway, so that's different. Because like in Poland, we don't. There's no these dances and like cultural dance and so on. These
Yeah.
dresses, they're sort of reserved for these, cultural events, right?
Yeah.
While in the U.S., you treat them. It sounds like oh, you have to learn this. You have to, you got to try the rogativka hat and all that. You got to
Yeah.
you got to take part in
yeah,
that. I think that's nice on one hand, and it's cool that you have like this melting pot kind of mentality where
Yeah.
Irish and Polish and Arab, Italian, whatever. Like people just can just come in there and like talk about their own culture. And the fun fact is that they take it so seriously. But I also assume that's because you went to the kind of school you went to.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this was within the school.
It was a separate like Saturday school. Like you didn't have to go to it. Like my parents signed me up for it.
How many hours?
I
you
don't
go to
remember. It was
school?
just on Saturdays for, I don't know, 5 hours or something, maybe.
5 hours.
So it really wasn't much.
Was it fun or was it paperwork and so on? Like, did you do stuff like that?
No, I didn't like it.
How many years
School.
did you do this?
Not long. Maybe a year and a half or something. So, yeah, I just stopped doing that.
God damn it.
Mm-hmm.
Year and a half.
Yeah.
What age?
8 or 9 or 10 or something like that.
So you made a very grown-up decision at the age of 8, 9, or 10.
It wasn't my decision.
Or your parents pulled you out of it.
Oh, I think they did. I don't really know. I don't remember what happened, honestly. Yeah.
He burned the school down.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say he did some shit.
He did some shit, right?
He did some-
Yeah.
Like,
Nah.
He made some people burp some Kielbasy for the last time. Imagine.
He joined the Kielbasy posse.
Kielbasy posse.
But yeah, no. Unfortunately, though, there was actually a lot of dislike for the Poles from the Irish Americans, and so I guess that's what kind of made me resentful about it, is that it was always cool to be Irish, but it's never cool to be Polish. That you'd always be a stupid Polak. This is something we hear all the time: is stupid Polak or go back to Poland. And this is a common thing that we would hear. And
I love that though. You can also go back to Poland, get my free healthcare, free education. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, that was the '90s, though. I don't think
still
anyone
get my
wanted
free
to go back.
healthcare, free education.
Yeah, so, but that was the thing that so I grew up actually, especially when I moved out of there. Like, I didn't want anyone to know I was Polish because of how badly we were discriminated against in Philadelphia, right?
Yeah,
And so,
Well, that's something you also encountered in Norway, right?
Oh, dude, a lot.
I mean,
it's
yeah.
weird. Like the whole bullying. Poles do not have it easy. It seems it's a
They're
country
really weird
that
to me.
always, it's always in trouble. And I remember, there were some interesting moments, and also in schools, and people treat you differently. In Norway, there's like a uptightness towards anyone who's foreign. If you ask a foreigner living in Norway, most of them will tell you that, they're kind, but at the same time, you feel like you're unwanted. But it's in a very weird way. Like, it's like Norwegians are like, we prefer our own. I'm going to be nice to you because I have to. And I don't want to be a racist or nothing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah,
So I think that's a phenomenon. But
I
that's
think
not to
Poles
say
are the same way, though. Like, my parents to this day only hang out with other Polish people.
Yeah, like you would think Poles would know better, but
No,
Like,
I
the
think it's
way,
just a
like-
cultural difference.
yeah. Well, what I'm thinking is that you have, if you look like racism in Poland, for example, which is, I would say, surprisingly accepted. Some
okay.
call it like a form of healthy critical thought. Like, I don't trust these people, but that's just logical because they're from another country or whatever. This is like.
But is that racism or is that xenophobia?
It's hard. Like, it depends. Like, you got those
Yeah.
that start using like racist slurs, and then you got xenophobia.
Yeah, sure.
And it's also ironic because like Norwegians and so on are not perceived to be worse, but we are perceived to be people who can pay more. You know what I mean? That's the thing. Like, Westerners can pay more. That's the thing, but
Yeah.
they're not looked down upon. But if you, for example,
You mean in Poland?
yeah. But or this is like my experience versus my experience plus experiences of friends who, for example, are from have Pakistani descent or something like that. Well, maybe not Pakistani descent in this case, but like let's say Caucasian, for example, like Azerbaijan, Armenia,
Oh,
so
yeah.
on.
Mhm.
That because they often have like a complexion that's a little tan. They look like they're Italian or something.
Yeah.
And one friend of mine, he's particularly annoyed about it because he goes out in the town, meets a girl, and she thinks he's Spanish or something.
Mhm.
And, he can score, as they say, like he can make a deal out of that.
Mhm.
But he just gets annoyed by it because, like, okay, so that's fine. If I'm Italian or Spanish, that's fine. You'd like a relationship with me. But if I'm from Azerbaijan or if I'm from Armenia or if I'm from Georgia or if I'm, Iraqi, whatever, Turkish, then we're critical. We're. So
Now, does it have to do with where they're from or their religion?
Well, you have like these phrases like chapate and so on, which.
Is that referring to? I don't really know. Is that referring to Muslims?
I don't know. Like I just hear it all
Okay.
the time, used in
Or brown
different
people.
contexts. Yeah, no,
I'm
they
not
use
sure.
it about Africans or like
Oh.
people from
Okay.
I've always
from like
heard
the
it.
African continent,
Oh.
or if you have, I think Muslims as well.
Well,
Yeah.
anyway,
Definitely.
viewers, here's a nice way to interact with the show. What is chapata actually? We're about to find out in the comment section. Isn't this fun?